All right, we're live, Jenny. Here comes the intro.
Okay.
You're listening to the Grow Clinton podcast. Grow Clinton is a 501c6 nonprofit economic, community development, and tourism organization based in Clinton, Iowa. For more information, visit growclinton.com. Again, that's growclinton.com. Now, back to the show. Welcome back, all you listeners out there, fans of the Grow Clinton podcast. As always, I am your host, Andy Sokolovich, for episode 175 of the GCP. That's right, Grow Clinton podcast. My name, as I just said, Andy Sokolovich. Geez, I'd have to repeat myself, Jenny.
You got to let people know you're out there.
Yeah, just keep saying it over and over and over again. Jenny Hone, that voice you hear, is the co-host of the Grow Clinton podcast. Jenny, what's happening?
Oh, it's a great day. It's brisk out there, but we're having another great podcast with one of our candidates.
Yes, we are. Before we get to introduce Mr. Travis Winter, I will announce our podcast sponsors. Citizens First Bank providing us with this mic check, courtesy of CFB, making sure your finances and our audio are crystal clear here on the podcast. Proudly sponsored by GSP, always in tune with our community. Go CFB.bank. Again, go CFB.bank. Banking as it should be with Citizens First Bank, member FDIC. AdCraft Printwear and Sully Sports, Jenny.
Yes.
AdCraft's been around since 1974. Over the years, they've morphed from just a family-run small business serving the general Clinton area to a cutting-edge operation that serves teams and companies all over the United States. For all of your custom printwear needs, adcraftusa.com. Adcraftusa.com.
Can I say something about that?
Yeah.
I just want to thank them for these amazing T-shirts.
Yeah,
that
wicked cool shirts we're giving out to our podcast guests.
They gave them to us to give out our podcast guests, but they're getting a little low.
Getting a little low, Dano. Hook us up, brother. She's sitting there going, okay, I will.
Whatever.
Yes. No, right now, Julie's like, Dan, they need more shirts.
Get on it.
Get on it. And of course, the OG sponsor, the Grow Clinton podcast, is powered by Miles Communications, providing us wicked fast, high-speed internet, ensuring that our broadcast is crisp, clear, and consistent. Miles offers residential and commercial high-speed internet services, as well as television and telephone services. Check them out on the World Wide Web, milestelephone.com. Again, milestelephone.com. If they're not in your neck of the woods, they are on their way. Milestelephone.com. Great show, Jenny.
I know. You can't miss our guest.
Yep.
There's no way with that T-shirt or that polo. No
He
way.
is clearly running for city council, competing for an at-large seat on the City of Clinton Council. 5 candidates, 2 seats available. Mr. Travis Winter. Travis, thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
So, Travis, tell us first, why? Why are you throwing your name in the ring for council?
Well, I decided I feel that, now's the time. I was born and raised here, worked here all my life, and I love Clinton. So
That's a good enough reason for me, man.
I think now's the time.
Very good. So, regarding economic development, Travis, what do you believe are the City of Clinton's most significant economic assets, and how would you leverage them to attract and retain new businesses?
Well, I think Clinton has a lot to offer. In a lot of things we take for granted just because we live here. And I think, we have, the Mississippi, we have the dike, and we have a lot of things that are great that should attract people. Obviously we have the rail port, which is huge. And I feel that, we should really be focusing on that. We've got the airport right across. We've got the 4-lane highway, and we've got, Interstate 80 and 88 within a half hour. So I feel with all that, there's no reason why we shouldn't have more businesses in Clinton.
So when you're talking about the dike, we all love it so much.
Yes.
And I agree with you. People take the Mississippi for granted. But what is your vision for that area? What do you see that in the future? What would you like to see?
Well, I'd like to see more tourism up there. Obviously, I like it the way it is. I don't think anything should be added to what we already have up there other than things that might draw more people for tourism.
Okay.
Yeah. One of the things we consistently discuss is lodging accommodations. We have some great hotels. We have the Wild Rose. But if you're just coming in and you don't know where the riverfront is, You may just pull off of Highway 30, cruise in, book yourself a room, stay the night, wake up, and then on the way you
Take
go.
off.
Right.
Mhm.
So how do we do a better job of ensuring that people know what's available along our riverfront and the north part of our community?
Well, here's another thing too, the lodging that we do have, and we do have wonderful hotels, but people sometimes don't understand that we don't have enough. I mean,
Right,
we don't
no.
have enough rooms for everybody who want to come here, and we want to attract more things to
Right.
the area.
Yeah,
Yeah,
perfect.
that's the biggest thing. I think when the Frontier closed up,
Yep.
we lost quite a bit with that, with being able to have a pool and convention halls and uh, restaurants and bars all in one place. We pretty much lost all that.
Yeah. So, Travis, how do you plan to strengthen the collaboration and the partnerships between the city and organizations like Grow Clinton so we can collaboratively promote business growth and enhance our workforce development efforts?
I think we need to all work together. I think that's the biggest thing, because if we can all work together, we can accomplish what we need to do.
Yeah. Nope. Collaboration is key. Absolutely. Let's see here. How do you define community development and what should Clinton's top priorities be in this area? So, community development is a strong focus of Grow Clinton. And just an abbreviated definition is ensuring that we are continually enhancing the quality of life and the overall well being of the entire community, regardless of somebody's socioeconomic status or where they live within the community. We want to make sure that it is a engaging place to live and raise a family. So, what do you think, that being said, are top priorities in our area?
We need to focus on jobs and retaining the people that we have living here. So often now that people are going off to school and they're going off to college and they're just not coming back. We need to try to get them to come back and offer them things that they need.
Yeah.
rather
What
than
can you
going
give us an
somewhere
example?
else. Well, jobs, and places to live. I think those are and things to do.
Mm-hmm.
I think things to do is a huge thing. I feel that when the YM closed, for instance, we never did nothing else with that. Obviously, we have the YW still, but I feel a lot of people, younger generations, are looking at for the Ys and for different things like that to do. And so I feel that maybe in the future we need to look at those options.
Yeah.
What would you add to Clinton in that way? Like the why, what do you see? I mean, what would you like to add, and where would you like to see that placed?
Well, to be honest, what I'd love to see is the bypass developed.
Mm-hmm.
I feel that when the bypass was put in there, the plan was develop it and have residential housing and commercial and frontage roads, and we have thousands of people that travel that road every day, and we have nothing out there. And I always use, for instance, if you come across the North Bridge and you don't stop at BP to get fuel and you're going west, where are you going to go get fuel?
Mm-hmm.
You're going to hit DeWitt before you go anywhere.
Mm-hmm.
And I would love to see a sporting complex out there.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what it would take and what it would take for funding, but I feel that if we could have a small sporting complex out there, like Sterling or Macokota, they attract hundreds of people every weekend for whether it's soccer or baseball or anything. And I don't think it would, it would be a little bit different than the Erickson Center. And that could be the start of things, because if you are able to have that, then you're going to get the hotels, you're going to get the strip malls, the gas stations, and everybody building around it.
Sure. Excellent. So, how would you ensure equitable investment across all neighborhoods through the city of Clinton? That includes our downtown district, also known as our self-supported municipal improvement district, that is governed by the Downtown Clinton Alliance, the Lions Business District, and the Riverfront. I mean, we do have several. You have the Lions Business Professional Association that focuses on the Lions Business District there along Main Avenue. You have Downtown Clinton Alliance that focuses on the downtown segment, which is about a 14-block radius. And then, of course, you have our beautiful riverfront. From a financial standpoint and investment, how would you make sure that that investment coming from the city is equitable across all of those districts?
Well, I think it's for one, I think it's great to have the two or three different groups, but what I would like to see is everybody working together. I see Main Avenue doing their thing. I think I see downtown doing their thing. If there'd be a way to that we could just all come together as one and work together, because I think both groups are trying to accomplish the same thing, and sometimes I think maybe they're trying to compete against each other, which if we could just all do things as one, and then maybe not just at the local level, but maybe the state level, look at funding to help with the buildings on downtown and Main Avenue to revitalize them.
Mm-hmm. That's one of the reasons why we merged here at Grow
Yeah.
Clinton. We combined the Clinton Regional Development Corporation, the Clinton Area Chamber of Commerce, and the Convention and Visitors Bureau, put it all under one umbrella, because between the Chamber of Commerce and the Development Corporation, philanthropically, both were nonprofits, both were 100% funded by investment dollars. The pool was getting a little shallow around the community. Many of our big donors are large industrial businesses, formed foundations that were only giving to very specific focus areas. And it wasn't as easy anymore for a plant manager to write you a check for 20
No.
grand and hand it to you as you walked out. So
Right.
that's one of the reasons why we merged, is because there was less resources, there was more work that needed to be done, and there needed to be a more focused approach
Right.
and a more robust strategic plan.
So if you're looking at Main Avenue, you're at the east end of Main Avenue. There's some opportunity there to develop.
Yes.
How do you see in the future? What would you like to see on that end of by the river there?
Well, what'd really be nice is if you could have a hotel up there that was overlooking the water, or a nice restaurant,
Oh yeah.
or something that's gonna be a big enough draw up there to get people to say, "I want to go to the east end of Main Avenue,"
Right.
and because right now that's not happening.
There's a lot of opportunity there.
Yes,
Right.
there is.
All right. So, what role do you see placemaking efforts such as murals, public art, city parks, and large gathering spaces playing in Clinton's identity and growth? And as we continue to create more of these opportunities, how can we better support those individuals that are basically the trendsetters making it all happen?
Well, I think it's art is important. For instance, I mean, look at what Gabby's doing up there on Main Avenue with her paintings up there and the murals that are going on up there. I think there's a huge following
Mhm.
up there, and they do a great job. And it would be nice if there was more of that throughout Clinton rather than just on one building.
Right. And I think what you said about putting something to make it a destination on that, and Gabby's done so
Yes,
much
yes,
to
she
do that,
has.
and it's proof of what you're
Yes,
saying
yes.
is that will work. Yeah.
Yep. When she has her event every year, it's
Boy,
a
that
great,
just gets bigger, doesn't
yes,
it? Yeah.
it's a great turnout. And, I just think that, if we could do that throughout Clinton,
Mm,
and maybe expand from one building to other buildings,
right.
it could be huge.
Yeah, very good. You touched on this a little bit earlier when you mentioned housing, but what is your plan, if elected to the city council, to address the shortage of quality, affordable, and like ready to move in housing here in Clinton?
Well, I think something that I've been talking about for a while now is even before I thought about running for council, is I feel that Clinton is missing the gap in housing, like from the 250,000 to the $300,000 range. And talking to different developers and builders, it's tough because there's not a lot of meat there. So I think to have that happen, the city needs to work together with the school board and with the board of supervisors to offer builders a little bit more to be able to come here and be able to accomplish that, whether it's tax incentives or whatever. Just because I think that if we could work together as one, we'd be able to offer the builder a little bit more. Right now, if somebody decides to go in there and develop a subdivision, they're getting about 38% in taxes, which is just the city tax. And that doesn't include the school or the county tax, where maybe if we could all work together, throw a little bit more into the pot, it's going to benefit the school board, because hopefully the family's going to have kids going to the Clinton School District. It's going to help the county down the road with taxes, and it's going to help us with growth.
Would you support rejuvenation of neighborhoods? You know, because we have some neighborhoods that, you know, there have been programs in other cities where they revitalize the whole or the whole block.
Right.
I mean, are you in support of something like that?
Yeah, I mean, I would support it, as long as, I feel there's a lot of grants out there.
Right.
And I don't necessarily know that Clinton takes full advantage of everything that's available. But if we could get some grants to be able to do that, yes, I'd be totally all for it.
Right.
All right. In your view, what zoning or permitting changes could help accelerate responsible housing and small business growth?
Well, I think, I think there's a lot of things that could be done. I feel that the sprinkler system ordinance in town, I think that needs to definitely get looked at. We have older buildings in town, that downtown 2nd Street, Main Avenue, that I feel are still sitting because it's not cost effective to buy the building, to fix it up, and then put in an expensive sprinkler system. I'm all about safety, but I think that fires are down from where they used to be in Clinton, and we have a great building and neighborhood services with inspections. I think they do a great job. So therefore, I think there's other measures that we could take rather than a sprinkler system.
We had investigated Dubuque's model several years ago, and their model is based off of a point system. So if your building falls within a historic district and you want to redevelop it to create, doesn't matter what it be, commercial space, first floor commercial, second, third floor residential, you have to meet X number of points total. And you can capture those points by doing A through Z. So if you don't want to do D, but as long as you get up to that point total, you can still move forward. So that is a very basic way of explaining it. It is much more in depth than that, and somewhat over my head, but they just realized kind of the same thing. Is we have a lot of old buildings that's very capital intensive to have to come in and get them up to a usable standard. So how do we help the developer by offsetting some of the costs associated with the enforcement of building codes, specifically, the fire codes?
Because you think about people, if it were just me, a regular citizen, I would think, well, how much can that be? A sprinkler system can't be that much, but it is.
Yes.
You can put up firewalls. I mean, there's things you can do through adjoining buildings. I mean, it's proven that there's ways around it.
Right.
And it's not about deleting the level of safety. It is about creating opportunities to enhance safety, void of having to do an expensive sprinkler system. Right. And some of these buildings will use the old Vinnie's Lounge, for example, like the Rusty Barrel. I mean, that was a very expensive installation of that sprinkler system that goes throughout the entire first, second, and third floor stories. And the pipe that's in there is a massive circumference, and there's a lot of water that could be pumped through there.
Right.
And it was not cheap.
Right.
But yet you had to do it.
Right.
Or no occupancy permit,
Exactly.
So we do have to sit down and look at that. I know that's been a conversation that's happened, and nobody's against it.
Right.
We just need to figure out how to ensure safety, and to just make sure it's an economical investment that's good not only for the patrons of the business, but also for the developer.
Right. Shouldn't be a deterrent to business.
No.
What is your long-term vision for ensuring Clinton remains an attractive and livable community for residents of all income levels and ages?
I think we need to promote Clinton, and we need to be out there offering things to do for all ages. I hear so often that there's not a lot of things to do here in Clinton for the younger people, and I think we need to look at what's available for the younger, what's available for the older, and just what's out there for everybody. And we need to make sure that everybody is felt welcome, and there's things for everybody in Clinton.
Yeah. We do spend a lot of time here at Grow Clinton engaging with the IJAG group.
Right.
That is Iowa Jobs for American Graduates. Clinton has one at the middle school and the high school. Excuse me. And we spoke to them last Friday, and we're going back this Friday. Each class has about around 12 to 15 students in it, but they're very vocal about what they're looking for and what they want. And some of the requests that they're making are not, out of this world.
No.
They are doable. Now, I always have to school them on the dining options, especially when they have the fast food and they want a Raising Cane's and they want a
Yes.
Chick-fil-A, and like that stuff is based purely on traffic count, population growth.
Draw.
I mean, that's why when you see a Chick-fil-A at 53rd and Elmore, or whatever it is there,
Right.
that intersection is insane. That's why Chick-fil-A is located there. It's not simply because somebody was like, yeah, that looks good.
Correct.
There was some science behind it. So.
You know what I always hear from when I go into the industries here and they have young professionals coming in, young workers coming in, the plant managers will say that what they hear is that they would like to see places for people to go to a club or to date or to meet people. And, Clinton is kind of short on that as far as dancing, music, indoor.
Right.
So, I mean, that's kind of what I hear. And I thought that was pretty interesting. And besides that, more dog parks. That is the one thing that I hear that really surprised me from plant managers.
Very interesting.
Yeah.
We could do a dance club. Is that what they call it? The club.
The club.
You can find me in the club.
We'll do it.
When I was stationed in New Mexico, we had this place that was this huge building. I do not know what it was prior to becoming a dance club, if you will.
Yeah.
But it was like every room, there was 12 different rooms. Every room had its own genre of music. And you could go, it was 3 stories. You can go wherever you wanted throughout the club as long as you paid to get in. And it was 18 and above, so you had to get wristbands and stamps and stuff. And I'm sure, I don't know what Iowa law is for all that, but it was really, really cool.
Yeah.
And there was areas that where music wasn't playing. You could hear the bass and stuff from the other rooms, but you could have a conversation. You could get a bite to eat.
Jeez, that's
It was
cool.
really nice.
All right, Travis, there you go. Main Avenue,
It's really cool.
Easton. There you
Yeah, I don't know about that.
All right, Travis. Now, all these things are great, but how will you measure success as a council member in advancing Clinton's economic and community growth?
Well, my slogan kind of been since I started running that, build back Clinton one house and one business at a time. And I feel as long as we've got houses going up and we got businesses going in, new businesses and hiring workers, that's how I would measure success.
Yeah. I will share with you my big pet peeve.
Okay.
Absentee landlords.
Oh, man.
It bugs me to no end when buildings sit vacant forever and there is no updates or upgrades to the facade. There's no upgrade to the interior or exterior of the building. There's water damage. There's structural damage, and they can sit there and deteriorate until they get to a point where it is beyond cost effective to even do anything to it. So how do we ensure that does not happen?
Right.
Somebody does not come in and buy a building for $25,000 from wherever, Narnia, and then choose to just do nothing with it and leverage it as a tax write-off.
Right.
There has to be a way to prevent that. And there has to be a way to make it so uncomfortable for those property owners that if you do not do something with that building, you do not engage in economic growth in our community, you lose it.
It's got to hurt.
I mean, we got to, that's one thing I really would like to fix is we need to look at the ordinance enforcement, and we have to figure out a way to ensure that we're dedicated to, like, just use downtown for an example. A lot of the efforts focus on 200 block of 5th Avenue South. You got some good things happen on the 100 block, especially down by Lou Ray's place and everything. But then there's a lot of gap tooth buildings in between. Now, what are we doing to bring those things back to a state of glory? And they're actually being leveraged by renters that want to host a commercial business within those first floor units.
Exactly.
Because I'm not going to rent a place that has an exposed elevator shaft when every time I turn my heat on, I'm basically heating the city of Clinton.
Yes.
I'm not going to rent a place that has massive gaps in the foundation where cold air is coming in.
Right.
You know, we have to make sure that these things are literally turnkey ready. So you can go in there, hang your shingle, set up your register, start selling your wares or providing a service.
And that's the problem too. You see so many businesses down there that are doing well. These are the businesses who have owners who put some money into keeping them, and then you have the big vacancies, and that isn't for every single one of them, but you got to wonder why. You know,
Right.
why are these vacant? So it's great to see the development downtown. I think people are really trying hard to get that to, wake up and be great. And there's some great places down there, but yeah.
I don't want to steal Travis's
I know.
thunder. This is about you.
I'm
But I
sorry.
will say, if I was a wizard for the day and I could wave my magic wand, downtown would be treated just like a homeowners association.
Right.
And any kind of improvements or new purchases would be vetted through a board or a oversight committee to determine if that's a good fit for our community.
Right.
And if it's not, then should be able to deny that. And it's not about taking away freedom to do whatever business you want. It has nothing
Right.
to do with that. But if your intentions are to buy a building and do nothing with it, if you can't provide a 5, 7, 10-year plan, then you should not have the right to own that building.
And see, we have a candidate here. How do you feel about that?
Well, I think I agree with that. The city has adopted the International Property Maintenance Code, which is supposed to, help with that. Having big gaps in foundations and front of buildings falling apart and roofs caving in. It's not, the International Property Maintenance Code isn't just for rental properties. It's for any property. So I feel that, maybe if we push that a little bit harder on, business owners, there's steps that can be taken. If an owner's just letting a property fall apart, for the city to go in and take it,
Yeah.
and either tear it down or rehab it.
So it'd be more of an enforcement thing for you.
Yes,
Okay.
absolutely.
Yeah. And I think that's a great first step, because it really just bugs me to no end when I hear somebody with the idea and the financial capacity to do something amazing, and they're stiff-armed by an absentee owner who has no desire to sell, but for a very high price.
Yes.
And it just doesn't work that way.
Right.
And we have to be able, it's our community. How do we take that property back?
Right.
And it's not about infringing on property owners' rights, but I'm sorry, if you're buying properties to do nothing with them, you should not be allowed to buy that property.
Right.
Right.
And
I
I just
agree.
can't stand sitting back and watching these things degrade and then chasing our tails, because what they'll do is they don't pay their property taxes. It'll go a full 2 tax cycle years. It'll be eligible for a tax sale. They'll come in, they'll pay a little bit, or get themselves back in a good state with the treasurer's office. And then all of a sudden that clock kind of resets itself. And then they don't do this again. They don't do this again. And then you slap fees on them
They don't
and
care.
the fines,
Yeah.
and you put liens on the property. They don't care. They don't pay it. They're not
Yeah.
going to.
Right.
And it's just,
Right.
unless your community, I do feel bad sometimes for the city, because what are you going to do? You're going to blow all your reserves and going into a court and trying to
Yep.
fight to get the property. It should
Right.
be a lot easier than that.
The enforcement should be easier than that. Yeah.
Okay, sir. Last question. What do you see as the most critical opportunity for the city over the next decade? And how would you ensure that we do not miss it?
Well, we have to get people wanting to move back to Clinton, and we have hundreds of people that drive into Clinton to work every day, and they drive back out of Clinton to go home. And we need to make sure that we need to try to get those people to live in Clinton and love Clinton as much as I do. Same thing with businesses. We have, Davenport with Amazon and the plastics plant and all those things that are out that way. Well, why aren't they here? I feel as a city, we need to have our eyes and ears open, and we need to do our best to try to get those businesses to come to Clinton and explain why they should be in Clinton. And we can't keep missing the opportunities.
Yeah. I will say with Sterilite, it came down to proximity of I-80.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We were second. Davenport was one. At one point, we were very close, neck and neck. and just logistically, they did some quick math and determined that the proximity to 80 would be more cost effective.
Right.
You know, so we do. I mean, there's things that we physically can't change.
Right. Yep.
We cannot move our community to closer proximity to I-80.
Not at all.
But so we do lose out on some of those things. However, I will say the Lincoln Way Industrial Rail and Air Park, our industrial site on the west end of town, served by the Union Pacific Railroad, has definite benefits over the
Oh,
Eastern Iowa
yeah.
industrial site along
For
I-80.
sure.
Absolutely.
One, because of a aging trestle bridge that the Canadian Pacific Railroad has to navigate to get into that site. Because of the age and condition of the bridge, there is a weight restriction on rail cars, meaning that you cannot get full rail cars into your location.
Seems like a
So
deal
if you're
breaker.
doing crunching math, you're doing crunching some numbers, you're realizing, if I'm getting 3/4 full cars in, that means I have to bring in, an extra unit train a month full of materials. That means added cost. It's easier for us just to go to Clinton, where we can be served by
Right.
the Union Pacific, and then boom, we're back in the win. And that's the story of Atlas Roofing Corporation. So Atlas was focused on the Eastern Iowa industrial site right there in Davenport, and once they found out that they would not be able to get full rail cars, that conversation changed, and Clinton came in and swooped them up.
Right.
So
And now all we got to do is make sure we swoop up the employees
yep.
and making sure they come to Clinton rather
Right.
than the surrounding communities.
Yep. So we got all sorts of great opportunities. I mean, we look at economic development very holistically. I do believe a strong focus needs to be placed on downtown development. Often that gets kicked to maybe like third, fourth, fifth down the list, but your downtown is your community's heartbeat. I don't care if you're bringing in a $250 million asphalt shingle plant or if you're bringing in a Marshalls.
Right.
The downtown showcases what the community stands for and the quality of the community. And if it's dilapidated, if it's blight, if there's not much going in regarding commerce or residential, that needs to be addressed. Because when people drive through a vibrant, welcoming downtown, it changes their opinion regarding the entire municipality.
It does.
So to me, that's the tip of the spear, and everything will kind of fall in line. And I often have people disagree with me on that, but I've seen it time and time again where you bring somebody into a community, you wine and dine a site selector that's making a big location decision. You take them to your downtown, you take them to your most popular restaurant, and they walk around and they buy things, and they sometimes have a spouse with them who's also involved in spending money.
Right.
And they walk away and go, wow, this was a really good experience. And they only were walking one block.
Right.
But they've made a determination on the whole community based on that one block. So what are we doing to make sure that our basic welcome mat is in the right condition to impress?
Drive that home. I was aware of a couple that was coming to town, who were coming to town, and they did the one block walk downtown, and they didn't come here because the wife said there's nowhere to get my hair done.
Oh,
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's, that is so important to have that done. But here's another, Travis, this is a great perspective for us. It's kind of being here and from here is that we see Lyons, we see Clinton, we see the West Side. My daughter-in-law is from Chicago, and the first time she came to Clinton, she came back to my house and she said, your downtown is massive. And I went, really? And she said, yeah, it goes right up to Main Avenue all the way down to 6th Avenue South. That's huge. And I thought, wow.
Yeah, she didn't
That-
remember the old tree in
No
the
old tree.
parking lot
Yeah.
Yep.
that separated Lyons and
That's
Clinton.
right.
Yeah.
Right.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Those are things that we take for granted as a riverfront. Our river frontage is huge.
Right.
And we take that for granted because we live here and we've lived here forever.
Mhm.
Same with Eagle Point. That's one of the nicest parks that, I've ever been to.
Yes.
And I don't hardly go up there anymore
True.
because I'm so used to it. But if I was a visitor,
Hmm.
it'd be perfect to go to.
Yep.
and
We
people
have
love
to,
it.
Yeah.
we have, just like a marketer puts themselves in the shoes of a prospective buyer or a customer. You have to do the same thing for visitors. You got to put yourself in the shoes of somebody that's coming here and knows nothing about your community.
Right.
So the woman that said, I can't find a place to get my hair done, she's not going to Google and looking for places within the community. She wants to physically see someplace. And that's what we have to make
Right.
sure that our signage, our
Yeah.
wayfinding, everything's very clear cut and concise and tells a message and a great story and can be followed by those that aren't from the community. So
It's like the showboat.
Yeah.
How many other cities have a showboat?
Right.
And
So true.
we take that for granted too.
Hmm. So true. It's just the marketing. So
Yes.
what would you use? What marketing tools would you use? What would be your marketing plan for Clinton?
Well, I would think that, we would just have to, the internet, flyers at hotels, just, grow Clinton,
Yes.
just put everything out there. And I believe, are you guys making a video trying to do
Oh, we do all
All
sorts
the
of stuff, my
time.
put a
friend.
video,
Yep.
doing a video of everything that's going on with all the events? And I mean, with all the nonprofit groups, we have a ton of events going on every
Oh,
year.
yeah.
And, if we could showcase, little clips of all of our events, that's huge, because we have a ton.
Yeah. You know what the worst thing is? Like the dagger to the heart sometimes here at Grow Clinton is we put a tremendous amount of effort in highlighting these events that are good for the community. They're family friendly, most of them are. And we will create a dynamic video, short reels for social media.
Mhm.
And inevitably, we will have to monitor the comments
They'll get
because
trolled.
our own people
Mm-hmm.
will have nothing but negative things to say.
Absolutely.
And if you're reading that as an outsider,
Ugh.
what's your perception going to be?
Right.
Right.
And that's why I tell people all the time, you have no idea who you're engaging at a Casey's or a Quick Star or at Rastrelli's. If somebody asks you what you think about the community, be careful with your words.
Right.
And if you really hate it that much, then leave.
Leave.
Yes.
Like,
Yep.
go away, because you're making my job and
Right.
our job here at Grow Clinton so much more difficult.
And why would you troll your own community? I mean, if you don't have a solution to a problem and you're just going to get on the internet, it doesn't make you look smart, or it doesn't make you look informed. It doesn't
Right.
make you look intelligent. It makes you look like, why are you here? And what would you plan to do about something that you don't like, right? I mean, we're used to people trolling. That's what the internet seems to live on.
Right.
But I mean, for a small community like this, there are so many people who are throwing their hat in the ring to try to make it better, and people who work every day to try to make it better. And just,
It's hard.
it's
It's just
hard.
like the 4th Street condos,
Right,
right by the viaduct there. We get it.
right,
Not your ideal location.
right.
I understand it. But our reality is they're there.
Mhm.
And
right.
we need to do everything we possibly can to sell those
Right.
or lease them out in the future, whatever the developer determines is the best path moving forward.
Right.
But when we posted that picture of a ribbon cutting that we had for the developer and the realtor that's selling the property, Lindsay Moorhart, I spent my entire weekend
Yes.
deleting comments.
Same.
Not just negative comments in the way of I don't like this, but like just vulgar, outrageous comments. And it's people that live and work here.
I don't understand that.
It's like you're doing no favors.
No.
You might as well just walk around and spray paint you hate this community on the side of your car and,
Right.
and go drive through other communities just to showcase how deeply your hatred goes.
Well, and offer solutions. If you don't have solutions,
Get
then,
involved.
Before I got this job, I'm like you. I'm from here. I love it. This is my home,
Right.
and I love it. And anybody who would say anything bad to me about Clinton, this is not good. But I would say, leave. We're not going to miss you. You just go
Right.
on. We're not going to miss
You're not
this.
contributing anything.
Yeah, we're not
Right.
going to miss this. But now I say, let's get you on a committee and get
Yep.
you going. And so many times, I just wanted to say that. Oh, well,
Right.
now we're on a soapbox.
All right. The city of Clinton has a ton of different commissions, committees,
yeah.
mayoral appointed. You can join anything you want, share your ideas. It's not about listening to the constituents, but it's about those that just find the need to complain incessantly
Right.
and offer zero in the form of solutions. Because that's my rule here at Grow Clinton.
Right.
Any of the staff come in and they want to complain to me about something, they better come equipped with a potential solution. We may
Right.
not use that one. There may be ideas flowing back and forth, and we can identify something that's stronger and more, sustainable. But don't come to me and complain without a
Right.
solution. That's kind of how city government should work.
Yep.
All right, man. Well, in the last 30 seconds here, tell us why on November 4th, that's Election Day, this coming Tuesday, we should check your name on the ballot.
I feel you should vote for me because I've lived here all my life. I've been pretty active going to the city council meetings and pretty active voicing my concerns and opinions at the council meetings. Small business owner in town, getting ready to open up another business up on Main Avenue here.
I
in
heard.
a
Very
month.
cool.
And so I'm very dedicated to the city, very proud of it, and I think I would be a good fit for the city council.
All right. Well, best of luck to you. Again, unless your head's in the sand, Tuesday, election day. You either go out like a traditional voter on the day of election day, that's me, or you can vote in advance. You can go up to 1900 North 3rd Street to the county admin building, just go inside the auditor's office, and then you'll be able to collect your ballot. I don't know, are they voting outside the auditor's office, like in the front there?
I don't think. Oh, I see.
They
what
were
you're
there
saying.
one time.
Right outside.
I
of the
see what
It
lobby.
used to be
Yeah.
the old like dining area
Yes.
back there, like cafeteria.
Yep.
All right, check it out. Be sure, do yourself a favor and vote. It is your right to cast your vote. And if you don't complain about who gets elected. All right, everybody. This is Andy Sokolovich, president of Grow Clinton. That's Jenny Home. Jenny, have a great rest of your week.
You too.
All right, everybody. It's been nice talking to you. Stay classy. See ya. Thank you for listening to the Grow Clinton podcast. Be sure to subscribe. Follow us on all your socials. Until next time, see ya.